friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Emily if you're new here. Today's video I'm finally doing the A to Z book tag. I was kindly tagged by Brooklyn's library to do this tag, so thank you Brooklyn for tagging me. I'm only now getting around to doing it, but I just thought this would be a fun way for my final video of bookmas to do this book tag. So let's just get straight into it. I have all the questions on my iPad as I normally do. So question one is author you've read the most from. So the author that I have read most from is actually Tahira Murphy. She has wrote the Shadow Me series and is also currently writing and is in progress of the Swerving Kingdom series, which is a YA fantasy, and the Shadow Me series is a YA dystopian series. I love Tahira Murphy and that is probably why I have read the most of her books, but I am very excited to read more of her work. The next question is best sequel, and honestly I don't really know. This is a hard one. I've read a lot of sequels. I feel like the best sequel in my personal opinion from 2023 would have been The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent, which was the second book in the Crown and Iexia series of the Nightborn duet, and the first book was The Serpent and the Wings of Night. So I absolutely loved the sequel to that series. It is definitely my favorite. I feel like I enjoyed the second book more than the first, so it was very bittersweet for me. So the next question is currently reading, and I am currently in the middle of like 3 books. So I'm currently reading Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. I'm currently reading Frost by Cian Crawford, and I'm also currently reading Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. And I'm like 75% into Wreck the Halls. I'm maybe 75% also into Frost, and then I'm like 50 pages into Love Light Farms. But I'm enjoying all of them, so that is a bonus. So question 4 is drink of choice while reading, and that can really vary from the seasons. Obviously in the colder months I like to read with like hot drink. In the hotter months I like to read with either like a Coke on ice, or I like to have a glass of Moscato while I'm reading. It's just a nice little treat in the evening, so those are definitely my go-to drinks. So question 5 is e-reader or physical or audio. Now this year has really opened my eyes into the audiobook world, but I would have to say that all 3 of them are pretty much tied. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I also do read quite a bit on my Kindle, and I do like to read physically. But honestly, over the last few months, my most go-to type of reading is by audio, so I would have to say audiobook as of right now. It definitely has absolutely changed my life. I feel like I can read so many more books. I used to only read 1 book at a time, but now I read multiple books at a time, and I absolutely love it that way compared to what I used to read. Like I never used to like to read more than 1 book at a time, but I now have to have multiple books on the go. Number 6 is a fictional character you would have dated in high school, and honestly I feel like I read a lot of like enemies to lovers, so like a lot of morally grey characters, but I feel like my type in high school, I probably would have dated Aaron Warner in high school. Very morally grey, but has like a soft spot to them only between the 2 of us. I feel like Aaron Warner would definitely be my boyfriend back in high school, but like hit me up if you want to date now, because I still love Aaron Warner so much. Like I loved him in the Shadow Me series, and I definitely feel like we would have been a pretty good couple in high school, so that is who I'm going with for that question. Question 7 is glad you gave this book a chance, and I would have to say that I'm glad I gave Circe by Madeline Miller a chance. I was never going to pick that book up until I saw some sort of a recommendation on Bookstagram, and a lot of people that I follow on Instagram didn't really enjoy Circe, so I was kind of skeptical about picking it up because I thought at the time we had similar reading tastes, but I was so wrong. I loved it so much. It was a 5-star read for me, and I'm really glad that I picked it up. Question 8 is a hidden gem book. I don't know if this would be classed as a hidden gem. I do read quite a lot of popular books, but Punk 57 by Penn Douglas, I don't know what it is about Punk 57. It is my guilty pleasure of a book. That and Birthday Girl as well by Penelope Douglas, but these books are definitely not for everyone. They are very cringy. They're just very taboo, I would say. Like taboo. Punk 57 was, but then also like very much bully romance. It was extremely bully romance. Yeah, Pen Pal Trope, I really enjoyed it, and I feel like it's kind of like a hidden gem. I don't know, a lot of people don't read those sort of books. Like Penn Douglas used to be indie before she was tried to publish, so I don't know, but I'm just going to go with that. Question 9 is important moment in your reading life. And I have only recently been reading for like maybe the last year and a half. I started reading back in June of 2022, so it's just been over a year and a half now, but reading has changed my life, and for the absolute better. I don't even know who I used to be without books, and I have met some amazing people throughout this year. I met one of my Bookstagram friends in real life at Babe, and it was the most memorable experience that I ever had. It was so much fun. I absolutely cherished those moments with my friend, and I feel like especially joining a community, like being able to connect with people and just having that relationship with friends, especially even joining booktube, I feel like I have made a lot of friends on booktube that I will cherish for the rest of my life. Like it is such a milestone, and I just really appreciate the book community. So question 10 is a book you've just finished, and I recently just finished A Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I gave it a 4 stars. I thought it was a really good time, except the last, I would say 40% of the book was quite depressing. Like I felt really sad about these characters. Like it took so long for the characters to resolve the conflict in this book, and I just felt really depressed reading the second half of the book because it just turned to like a really dark side that I have not seen from Grady Hendrix. And I haven't really, like obviously with Grady Hendrix, like he's kind of like a dark humorous horror, but this had no humor in it in my opinion. It was just straight up terrifying horror, but I did really enjoy it nonetheless. Question 11 is kind of books you want or don't read. I don't read a lot of classics, but I would love to read them. I own a couple of your classics like The Picture of Dorian Gray, Frankenstein, Dracula. Those are like the main classics that I would love to read next year that I haven't read or that I don't really read a lot of. The only sort of classical books that I have read are modern classics like The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson and The Bell Child by Sylvia Plath. Those are both classed as like modern classics, but I definitely would like to read more classics even though I don't read them. Question 12 is longest book you've ever read, and the longest book that I have ever read would have been It by Stephen King. That book was almost 1200 pages, and it definitely is the longest book that I have ever read. Even though 2023 I feel like I've read quite a few longer books like Crescent City series, Court of Silver Flames, It by Stephen King. The Zodiac Academy books were quite long as well. Like I feel like I have read quite a lot of long books this year, but It by Stephen King is definitely the longest book that I have read this year. Question number 13 is a major book hangover from, and I felt like I got a book hangover from finishing The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I didn't really read anything for like a week after I finished that book because I could not stop thinking about it and nothing was hitting the same for me. Like I just felt so emotionally attached to that book that I didn't want to let it go out of my brain, and I just wanted to keep myself immersed in the story. But I feel like that is definitely one book hangover, as well as finishing the ACOTAR series. I feel like I kind of got a book hangover from finishing A Court of Silver Flames. Like that book was so good and I was so sad that I finished it. So question number 14 is number of bookcases / bookshelves, and I only have the one behind me, my main bookshelf, and I also have my book cart. So these are the two things that I keep my books on. I live in a house with my partner's family, so we don't have a lot of room, and I don't have any more room to put any more bookshelves until we move out next year. So next year I will have a library and I'm so excited, but I just have these for now and it works for me. So those are my bookshelves. I have I have 6 shelves on my bookshelf, and then I obviously have my book cart which has 3. Question number 15 is a book that you've read multiple times, and I honestly have never reread a book before, but 2024 I want to reread some of my absolute favorites, so that is going to change in 2024 for sure. Number 16 is preferred place to read, and that is my couch. I sit on that couch, I love it. It is cozy. I enjoy sitting on my couch reading. I don't like reading in bed that much because I get really tired when I'm in bed. I try to never actually just get into bed unless I'm going to bed to go to sleep. I can't do it, otherwise I just fall asleep. Like it's just my bed, like it's bedtime, you know. Or I like reading outside when it's nice and sunny and, you know, when it's peaceful, whereas like my dog Raven, if I go outside with a book, it's never peaceful. So it has to be just me outside enjoying the sunshine. Question number 17 is a quote that inspires you, and this quote is from A Court of Wings and Ruin. This quote has stuck with me. It is on my Notion homepage. I am absolutely obsessed with this quote, and this quote is, "I heard you even in death. It made me look back, made me stay a little longer." It gives me goosebumps whenever I read that line. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so emotionally, like, I just love it. Question number 18 is reading regret, and honestly, the book that I regretted most reading this year was Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I despised the characters, Lily and Lo. I could not stand them at all. Their toxic relationship, I just could not stand it personally, and I definitely regretted being sucked into the hype of that series. I just did not enjoy the first book, and I definitely will not be continuing on with that series in any way. Question number 19 is series you started and need to finish, or books out in series. So all the books out in series that I need to finish is the Vampire Academy series. I still have book 5 and 6 to finish of that series, as well as the Penryn and the End of Days, which also I need to finish reading the last book in that series. It is a trilogy that has been out for quite a few years now. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but I think that's really all I can think about off the top of my head. Those are the 2 main series that I need to finish as they are completed. Question number 20 is 3 all-time favorite books, and my 3 all-time favorite books I would have to say is Ignite Me by Tahira Murphy, A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas, and The 7 Year Sleep by Ashley Poston. Those are like my top tier books, not in 2023 but just in general. I had the best time reading those, like A Court of Wings and Ruin and Ignite Me by Tahira Murphy, which is book 3 in the Shadow Me series. Honestly, my favorite book of last year. I ate that shit up. It was amazing. Question number 21 is Unapologetic Fangirl for, and I would have to say Aaron Warner or Carter and Greenberry. I just love them both, and I talk about Warner all the time. Like I made a dedicated reel for him last year on my Instagram. I just absolute fangirl for Aaron Warner. Question number 2 is very excited for this release, and I am really excited for Finley Donovan Rolls the Dice, which is book 4 in the Finley Donovan series. I'm really excited for that to be released next year. That is like one of my most anticipated reads. I'm just so excited. I fell in love with that series this month, and I'm absolutely obsessed. I cannot wait to read the 4th installment. Question number 23 is worst bookish habit, and for me it's not a bad thing, but with my books, I'll just get an example out. So with my books, I like to like fold the page to the back if it's like a floppy book. I really enjoy that. Also, I like crack the spines. You can see that Circe's entirely cracked, but that is my worst bookish habit. Like, it's not bad for me, but that's just maybe bad or triggering for other people. So number 24 is X marks the spot. Start at the top left of your bookshelf and go to book 27. And I already did this, so I'll put the clip in. But number 27 was Frostbite by Rochelle Mead, which is book 2 in the Vampire Academy series. This book series is a YA Academy vampire series. There is vampires, and there is also the Strigoi, and the Strigoi are the really like demonized vampires that are like out for blood, to kill people, whereas like obviously just the vampires at the Vampire Academy, at the academy itself, they have their own blood that they drink from people who happily donate their blood to these vampires. But it is a really fun time. The characters, Rose in particular, and Dmitry Belkov, chef's kiss as well, another book boyfriend that I love. But this series is a really good time. I was sucked into it. When I first started reading this, it was because Katie from Katie's Reading had been obsessed with this series last year, so I was like, okay, I need to read it myself, and I totally understood the hype. Just a really fun time. You don't really have to think much about this series. It is honestly like your early 2010 book series, and I really enjoyed it. Question number 25 is your latest book purchase. My latest book purchase, So I'm going to say my latest book purchase was Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey, because I bought this with my own money. I did buy some other books, but it was with a gift card, so I technically didn't buy them. But this one I did buy, and like I said in a previous question, I am actually enjoying this. So it was my recent book purchase. And the final question is, Snatcher, book that kept you up too late. And the book that kept me up too late is a book that I don't really want to talk about on my channel anymore, but it was Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I stayed up really late reading this book. Also, the Zodiac Academy books, I binged the first 7 of those books in a month, and I would stay up really late reading them and getting up really early to continue reading them. How trashy the Zodiac Academy series is, but it was so bingeable, and I had the best time with the characters. I just love the heirs so much, and I love Tori and Darcy, and Orion, like, oh my gosh, even thinking about them, I want to reread those too. And I actually am doing a read along next year, which is going to be in Merv from Reading with Merv's Discord. We are going to be buddy reading the Zodiac Academy series, a book a month. So I'm so excited about that buddy read. So yes, that includes the A to Z book tag. Thank you again to Brooklyn for tagging me in this tag. I will tag a few channels in the description down below of maybe who would like to give this tag a go. Thank you guys so much for watching day 12 of Bookmas. This is going to be my final video of Bookmas. I had so much fun with these Bookmas videos, and I probably will be taking a break now until the new year. So if you don't see me again, I hope you all have the most beautiful and wonderful Christmas, or if you don't celebrate Christmas, just have a wonderful rest of your couple of weeks of the year. Thank you all so much for watching my YouTube videos. I really appreciate all the support and all the friendships that I have made this year. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow. See you all in my next one. Bye.